This week, the Liberals chose an anti-Alberta, anti-Israel, anti-farming, anti-hunting, pro-climate lockdown soap company to make their announcement of a ban on animal testing in the cosmetics industry. I want to tell you about a major slap in the face to Alberta and the West in particular from Justin Trudeau this week that nobody else is really talking about. Justin Trudeau's Liberals chose the UK-based cosmetics company Lush as the location to make their announcement of a new ban on animal testing in the cosmetics industry here in Canada. Just look at this. But there's a big problem here if you know anything about that company Lush. You see, there are plenty of far less radical companies that are also against animal testing where this announcement could have been made. But this particular one, Lush, is the one that Justin Trudeau chose because this company aligns with Justin Trudeau's radical progressive worldview. You see, Lush has a long history of supporting radical animal rights groups. They've participated in blocking critical infrastructure in the United Kingdom in the name of climate change. I'm reliably informed that the Liberals are against blocking critical infrastructure. Lush has aligned itself with the destructive mob violence of Black Lives Matter protests. Lush participates in the anti-Semitic boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign against Israeli-owned companies. These companies very often employ Palestinians, giving them good jobs and protecting their labor rights, but simultaneously, Lush is silent on the treatment of foreign workers in places like Saudi Arabia. Lush has campaigned for open borders. They've campaigned in favor of people dangerously sabotaging hunting. Lush is anti-fur, which is an industry that employs so many Indigenous people. Lush is also on the trans rights, our human rights bandwagon. They're also on the anti-conversion therapy bandwagon too, which could force parents to go to jail in this country if they try to get their children help for issues of gender and body dysmorphia. Lush has also supported climate activist truant Greta Thunberg's school strike. And Lush, of course, is anti-fracking, as these people tend to be. But here's where the slap in the face to Alberta really comes if the anti-farming and anti-hunting stuff wasn't enough. Lush has been campaigning against pipelines and Canadian oil and gas for years, at least a decade. They've staged a series of stunts and they've called the oil sands the most destructive project on Earth. Imagine that. Not the stuff in China, not cobalt mines, none of that stuff. The reclamation projects in Fort McMurray and all those good high-paying jobs that contribute to the Canadian economy and the lifestyles of so many Canadians and the standard of living that we all enjoy here in Canada, a lot of that is directly tied to Canadian oil and gas. But Lush says it's the most destructive project on the face of the earth. And despite all the normal cosmetic companies operating here in Canada, this company, Lush, is the one handpicked by Justin Trudeau and the Liberals for this announcement. The Liberals have given the credibility of the Canadian government to this radical company, ostensibly endorsing the views of the company by holding a government press conference there. And the media isn't reporting on any of it. And in contrast, just remember how the media treated conservative MPs for simply being in the vicinity anywhere near the 2022 Freedom Convoy. Those conservative MPs were suddenly responsible for every single view held by the thousands of individuals in that organic protest. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Rebel News is filing for access to information about how this press conference came together inside of this radical company to offset the cost of our filing and research. Please consider making a donation at rebelinvestigates.com.